Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Marketing Starts on Monday. I call it your 2023 planner, the easy way. I'm Cindy Bishop with Cindy Bishop Worldwide, and I want to introduce Kelly Katalinas today, your presenter. But before I do, I want to make sure you all know how amazingly wonderful Kelly is. I don't know who knows Kelly and who doesn't, but she has been a mortgage loan officer for over 30 years. During that time, she has become an effective trainer, not only with her team, she manages an office for Fairway Independent Mortgage, and she trains and helps a team of lenders grow in addition to helping our agents. And she has unbelievable production and outstanding customer service skills, which I can't imagine anybody that meets Kelly doesn't stick with her. With this educational approach and exemplary business reputation that she has now been voted as the best lender professional by Washingtonian Magazine. That was an award given for all of 2021. Kelly is loved by her clients and agents, which is proven by the fact that well over 90% of her business is referrals. Kelly comes to us today with the topic of Marketing Starts on Monday, which will be a very big help in your 2023 planning for your own success. Welcome, Kelly.
Thank you again. Always appreciate such kind introduction and words. I'm so happy to see everybody here today. It's raining where I am, so I'm grateful for your time this morning. We're going to go through Marketing Starts on Monday, and it's going to be a lot of slides in kind of outline format. So I encourage you to take some notes. The presentation is going to be available out on cindybishop.com. Click on my photo, Cindy, right? Upcoming events, or on my photo instructors.
cindybishopworldwide.com, and then you go to upcoming events, just like you would to schedule a class.
Right.
And then you go down to there, right down underneath where it says January continuing ed webinars. There's a button that says meet our instructors,
Right.
And you go there, and then you click on Kelly's picture, and you'll go to her page. Yeah.
So a lot of the things that I've done are out on Cindy's page. Just click on my picture and you'll at least be able to listen to this again in case you miss anything. And I can get the presentation out to all who attended today as well, just to kind of keep it top of mind. So I want to jump right in. We call this, it's funny, Marketing Starts on Monday. Marketing starts every day, okay? I tell my team, there's got to be a certain amount of time you're working in your business and on your business, right? In your business might be your administrative tasks. On your business is constantly fueling your pipeline, constantly fueling your pipeline. It doesn't matter what circumstances are happening in the market, okay? Successful people are successful regardless of the market because they have a system and a plan that they follow no matter what. Okay, so we're going to go through some things that kind of walk you through some of the things I do with my team with respect to planning, evaluating where you are, projecting where you're going, and being sure it's realistic. So let's pop to the next slide. There we go. So here's the planning outline, right? The process. First, we're going to look at several things, right? We want to evaluate where we are today, okay? This is a great time to look back on 2022, possibly 2021, very different years. See where you are, right? What went well? What didn't go so well? What could you have done better? What could, what could you improve upon? What was perfect, right? There's always a perfect piece in somewhere in there. So be sure you give yourself some grace on that. It's also the time to establish where you are and where you want to go, okay? You're going to establish your goals. You're going to establish those projections. Are they going to be realistic? Are they going to be stretch? And I encourage you to do both, okay? Realistically, and we're going to get into more details on that. Then you have to prioritize, okay? Not just prioritize your day, prioritize your activities, but prioritize your time. Time is your biggest enemy of it all, right? If you cannot manage your time, you cannot prioritize properly. So you have to be able to commit and not let distractions come into play. Okay. And I have some tips on that as well. Planning is very unique to each of you in how you operate. Some people can plan 3 months out, 6 months out, 1 year out. Some people can plan 1 year out, 3 years out, 5 years out. Okay. I would tell you to pay attention to your planning, evaluate what's manageable to you. Okay. If you plan quarterly goals, then plan quarterly goals. If you plan yearly goals, then you're going to break it down to quarterly based on perhaps the seasonality of the markets you anticipate, right? If you look back on this year and you say, I made the majority of my income in the first 6 months versus the last 6 months, is that likely to continue in 2023? Then maybe your plan for the first 6 months is slightly different than your plan for the second 6 months. Okay. Then of course we have execute, right? We've got a lot of people who want to build a better mousetrap, but it never gets done if they don't execute properly. Okay. We have a lot of people that'll waste time building that better mousetrap because they just don't have perhaps an accountability person or someone, they don't know they need help in the execution. So be honest with yourself when it comes to the execution, is what's realistic to you to be able to do or what you may need some assistance with. So let's dive into it. So the first thing is evaluate, right? This is, you could take out your iPad, your laptop, your yellow pad, whatever works for you. I'm kind of old school. I tend to write things out on a yellow pad as I think my thoughts, and then I'll go to my computer and I'll start organizing it, right? But in evaluate, I can tell you what I do with my team, and what is not very different on the real estate side is, what did we do this year? Okay. For some of you, and from the business standpoint, it's going to be, how much volume did I do this year? How many units did I do this year, buy side, sell side? Then it's, what is my average buy side, sell side listing or sale? Okay. What went well with all of that, right? So you have some numbers. You can take your total volume, divide it by your average list side, sale side, and if you want to mirror what you did this year, next year, or grow upon what you did this year, next year, how much more units you need to get in order to accomplish that goal. So you have to evaluate where you are right now. For example, in my branch, our average loan size is 505. Okay. We have some loan officers, their average loan size is 800. We have others, their average loan size is 375. Just depends on where the market is that they're operating. But if I tell you at a branch level, our average loan size was 505, then that's at least a planning strategy based on a mix of business you might be getting if you're intending to expand into different markets. It's no different on the real estate side. Okay. You know where you farm, you know where your average sales prices are. If you're not happy with that, or there are additional markets you want to branch into, then your strategy has to appeal to that market as well. Okay. Your activities will probably be the same, but you might have a little different message if it's a different target audience that you're going after. So what did you do this year? Pat yourself on the back for what went well. It can't always be about what you should have done differently. It has to be about, what did you do well, right? There are people that liked your service. There are people that will recommend referrals to you. I always call those people my apostles, right? That's, not everybody is religious, whatever, but in my mind, those are my apostles. They go out there, they speak for me, right? They advocate for me. These are the people that I can count on to refer me time and time and time again. What went well with them? Did my business with them grow? Did they get the message that I'm available to their friends, their family, their coworkers, whatever, okay? Those are the people that are my cheerleaders. They get out there, did I service them well? Did I service their people well? Did I grow that segment of, what went well in that regard? what could have gone better, right? You know, some people refuse to look at themselves honestly into where they may see some things for improvement. You know, I've had a lot of people work for me that when I have their one-on-one meetings, it's difficult. It's a fight, you know, and I can look back and say, well, wait a minute, here are the activities, here's the results. Not everything went well. Okay. So what are we going to do to perhaps work off of the strengths that you have? And maybe we direct into those areas that you really do well at and build upon that and stay away from the things that are most uncomfortable for you. Okay. So again, be honest with yourself. What could have gone better? Okay. And build upon that, right? I used to, when I got in the business many years ago, had a thick New Jersey accent, um, and I spoke faster than probably my coworkers here in Virginia. And the one thing I had to realize when I talked to customers was that regardless of how knowledgeable I was or how friendly I was, if I wasn't mirroring the cadence of their speech, or they didn't understand the way I was saying certain words, inevitably the impression I was leaving was that I wasn't listening, that I was speaking too quickly. I perhaps wasn't hearing nuances that were important to listen to. And that's an eye opener. Okay. You grew up a certain way, you talk a certain way, you know, you learn. I had to learn to slow my speech. Had to learn to flatten some of the ways I spoke, because what could have gone better for me was that I realized people, you know, weren't receiving me the way I thought I was presenting. Okay, so you have to know your optics. You have to know how you present to people and how they understand you. And, you know, if that's something you do really well, you're going to succeed no matter what you do and build upon at that point. But if it's something you need work on, then you need those questions to check in. Do you understand what I'm saying? Is there anything I could explain better for you? So, you know, you can always do better by adding a check-in question if you're uncertain in that. So again, what could have gone better, right? So the next thing you're going to do is you're going to establish where you want to focus your time, right? Your energy and your budget. So you're going to have a column that says time, right? We all have the same amount of time. The difference in our time is how efficient we are with it. Okay. Then your budget is your budget, right? You're going to allocate a certain amount of money in your budget to marketing dollars, to what you want to do and how you want to spend that, and where you're going to evaluate where the best use of that money is going to go. So let's start with your time. Okay. Long ago, when I started in the business, I wasn't married, I didn't have children. I stayed with the business, worked really hard, you know, Saturdays, weekends, all week long, whatever it needed to do to get the business I needed to support myself. As I get married, as I have children, I have more demands on my time. It's the same amount of time, but the effort changes. Okay. You have less time for distractions. You have less time for wasting time, because you have other priorities that come into your life. You need to understand what your time is. If you're 100% reacting and waiting for the phone to ring, you are not managing your time. If you are time blocking on your phone, for example, years ago, I would change my message every day on my phone. Hello, I'd introduce myself. This is Kelly Katalinas, Fairway Independent Mortgage. Today is December 7th. I am returning calls today between 10 a.m. and 12 noon, and again between 3 and 5. Please leave a message. I will call you as soon as I'm able. If it is urgent, you can text me and I will try to get back to you as soon as I can. But I am at least setting the parameters for my time and the expectation so that the caller is evaluating whether or not it is urgent, okay? Or it can wait for the windows of time that I'm returning call. That allowed me the other hours I needed to do my busy work, make my sales calls, do my follow-ups, check on my loan statuses, status my realtors, work with my LOs, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, okay? You can run your business the same way. There's nothing wrong with letting customers know your schedule. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay. Everybody has a schedule. If you're allocating an hour in your morning to do a workout, you have an appointment. Do your workout. You have an appointment. And one of my realtors, a top realtor, took what I did and does it to this day, every day on her cell phone. Every day she changes the message. And she says, it's just freed me up because the expectation is set. Okay. So focus your time, focus your energy. Okay. Write it down. Okay. Get a planner, use your phone, get a calendar, desk calendar if you need to see a whole month in front of you. However works for you, be sure you have it written down. Budget is a different environment. Okay. Budget impacts everybody differently. You don't have to have a huge budget to do marketing. Okay. Your phone is your biggest tool, right? You have a budget for Facebook. You have a budget for Instagram. What you don't have a budget for perhaps is how to be the most effective you can be on those. And maybe you need to hire someone or get some help with that. So think about what the message is, who you want to connect with. How are you reaching out to those groups? We talk a lot about your sphere of influence and who you're touching base with every day, right? It's always your sphere of influence first. Then you're reaching beyond that. That is their spheres. It's their friends. It's their families. You're widening that tree. And follow-up is key. If you're not following up, don't bother trying, right? Follow-up is key. Everything is a follow-up. And it's not one time, it's 5 times. Okay, until they tell you to stop, you're following up. Okay, so again, understand your budget, understand your time. That's really the 2 biggest things I can think of with respect to establishing your marketing plan, your time and your budget. Prioritizing is, a reflection to you. What is most important to you? Okay, for some people, it's a balance, right? Maybe it's a balance of work and life is most important. For other people, they will say, I want to hit this goal this year. This is the most important thing to me going into 2023. For others, it's saying in incremental prioritization, I fund 2 transactions a month. I need to increase that to 3. How am I going to do that? That's my goal. I'm going to prioritize that. I want 1 more transaction a month. That's as simple as it goes. So again, it's what's most important for you. It could be volume. It could be life-work balance. Whatever it is, you need to write it down. Okay. Because then your time has to fit into that priority, right? What will disappoint you if you don't accomplish it? What will disappoint you? This is the difference between setting a goal that is within reach and a goal that is unrealistic. Okay. I had a new person join me who hadn't been originating for a while and come back in, and I asked them to submit a business plan to me because I always like to see kind of what they put down before I delve into a business plan the way I'm going to do it. Business plan came in, they hadn't originated in a couple of years. They wanted to get back into the business. They said, I'm going to close $40 million next year. I said, it's totally unrealistic. I love what you're thinking, but that's totally unrealistic. If you've been out of the business for 2 years, where are those relationships? Where are your referral sources? Where are you getting the business from to accomplish that kind of goal based on this? So again, I love that that's a big think big. Okay, I love that that's a think big. But realistically, are you going to be disappointed after the first month or second month whether you're not hitting those numbers to accomplish that goal? Okay, so again, what will disappoint you if you don't accomplish it? That just means be realistic, whether it's a personal goal, you have a health and wellness goal, you have a business goal, be realistic with that goal, so that you're not disappointed. Okay, and you're not disappointed. And it's a pat on the back that you get it done. So we now move into planning. right? What do you need to be successful? And again, are you realistic? What do you need to be successful? Okay. That's kind of a very broad question. And when I ask my team that question, it's a myriad of responses. What do you need to be successful? Well, I need support online. Well, I need leads. Well, I need processing support. I need an assistant. I want to be the rainmaker. I need someone dealing with the paperwork. I want this, or I want, think about where you are right now. If you looked back on the transactions that you did this year, okay, and let's say you did not have administrative support and you did it all yourself, and you think, I could have increased my business if I had just had some part-time help. Maybe that's a plan for 2023. Maybe it's a sharing of an assistant with another real estate agent that you work with, and you split time. Okay. Think about the things that you spend time on that make you no money. And is it less expensive to hire help or someone to help you do that? Okay. Last year I brought on a full-time production partner, marketing assistant for the branch. We have a regional marketing assistant that helps all of our branches, but I brought one in for our branch only because I couldn't keep up with the ever-changing needs out there on Facebook, Instagram, one-on-ones with our real estate communities. And I'm a producing manager. I still write my own loans. Okay. So still trying to build my group of real estate agents that want to work with me and increase their business. They want someone they can trust, but I need to trust somebody else to do some of that back end work because I couldn't focus then on the production that, really is my lifeblood for me and my team. So think about where you are today, what could have helped you. Is there a way to get that help? Okay. If that's what it is. If it's a situation where you just weren't great with your time and you were able to handle it, or you're a control freak like I am in a lot of ways, it's hard to let go of those things because you want your voice to be represented the way you want it to come across. And trusting somebody else to do that for you is a leap of faith that maybe you're not ready to take. You got to think about it. You got to let some things go and delegate in order to get that business moving. So if it's a situation where you can't delegate, you can't afford to delegate, but you want to be better at what you're doing, then I would tell you there's a lot of resources out there. Take advantage of them through Cindy's group and just prioritize your time better. Get more efficient with your time and you will be more successful. Until it's such a point where you're making that extra money that you can afford some help to get you to make even more money. Okay. So next, we're just going to kind of get into, this is like an acronym we use, and you probably have seen this before with setting your marketing goals. Okay. There's an acronym that we use and we say start SMART. Okay. So on your piece of paper, you're going to write SMART, right? And these goals, whatever they are, whether they are personal or they are professional, you need to write them down. They need to be specific as you can make them, okay? Because from the specificity, okay, you're going to pare it down to the activity. So let me give you an example. I have like a plan that we do with some of our team. They might put in, I want to make $250,000 next year. Okay, you want to make $250,000 next year. They know what their commission is on each loan. They know what their average loan size. They can break it down to see how many units they need to do to generate $250,000 worth of income. Okay, similarly, you can do the same. You want to close $10 million in production, $20 million in production. You know what your average real estate commission is on a per transaction basis. You can break it down to see how many transactions you need to close each month to generate that revenue. Well, what you don't know necessarily is how many leads, okay, did you need to convert to get and win those transactions. And that's the look back of this year. How many opportunities did you have, okay, in a given month that ended up in a transaction? If you had 5 or 6 borrowers or sellers in a monthly basis, some fall out, some, choose not to buy, some choose not to list, whatever the case may be, you have to understand what your conversion is. Because if you don't understand your conversion, you don't know how to direct your time. Okay. My branch has literally an 88% conversion. What that means is I have very good loan officers who do very good screening and work so that when they obtain a lead, 88% of the time that transaction closes. If it doesn't close, it's not because it wasn't approved. Maybe they just get out of the market. They decide not to buy. We could lose it to another lender, right? Like in the end, they could be shopping and they could be, hey, my credit union gave me a great deal. I'm going to move the loan over there or whatever. Our point is 88% of the time we have them from beginning to end. So, you got to know your conversion. You got to know your conversion with the leads. It has to be measurable. And I touched on this just previously. You've got to know your units, you've got to know your averages, you've got to measure it against what your goal is, right? How much work are you doing to attain that goal realistically on a monthly basis? Sometimes monthly is in the real estate side and lending side is tough because we know the seasonality of the market. I tend to stagger my goals with my team seasonally. Okay. We know that April to June is typically hardest hit. I don't bypass January to March because for us, spring market starts in January. I think it's a misnomer that spring is March. I think it's January. So heavy the first 6 months of the year, a little lighter in those summer months. And then a lot of our first-time home buyers tend to come in toward the end of the year. We tend to do a lot of first-time home buyers as we get into the October to December timetables. 9 times out of 10, it's mostly first-time home buyers. So has to be measurable, has to be attainable. As I mentioned before, previous LL, 40 million when you haven't originated in 2 years is unattainable. It's unrealistic. Has to be attainable. Maybe you say, I did this much and I want to grow it by 15%, or I want to grow it by 20%. Or, is that attainable on a per unit basis, right? If I do this, from my group, I say, do 1 more transaction a month, just one, okay? If you want to do more than 1, that's great. But if you do 1, look at what that percentage does for you in terms of growth. Relevant, okay? Is your goal relevant to your overall strategy in your business marketing, right? We have some, people will say to me, well, you've been producing for so long. And when I moved to management, I stepped away from producing for a little while because my team needs focus too. So, my goals are my goals, but it's also to help them grow, right? So it's not all about me, let's put it that way. So I produce to be relevant, right? I want to be relevant in the market. I need to understand the marketplace. How can I help my agents and my team if I don't understand the marketplace? You need to be relevant in establishing your goal. You need to be sure that whatever goals that you're setting are relevant to the communities that you serve, right? If they're, for example, like our team right now is doing a huge teacher appreciation initiative that we started since September. We're going into schools, we're showing our appreciation. It's been a rough year. It's a great way to support the community because where else is there an employer where everybody has to show up at work every day, right? So we're there to support them. Is your focus in your community relevant to your overall business strategy? Is there a charity, for example, that you support? It's relevant to your marketing strategy that you're a supporter of first responders, that you're a supporter of health professionals or nurses. Incorporate that into your overall business strategy. Whatever you do to support your community is relevant to your business goal, because you don't know who knows who knows who, and where your connections are going to be made, right? Relevant in the way I look at it in terms of setting your goals is it's relevant to the community I serve. Is what I do relevant to the real estate community? It absolutely is. Is what I learn in the mortgage business relevant for my expertise when I'm dealing with a tough contract, or I'm dealing with a brand new real estate agent who has some contract questions, and I'm not an attorney, but I could tell you what will work for the lender when you're negotiating, et cetera. So think about relevancy in a lot of different ways, but I think if it provides value, it's relevant. Okay. The next thing with your goal is time bound. And I talk a lot about time and managing your time. You have to understand the boundaries of your time in establishing your goal, right? If you set a yearly goal, you're bound by a year. No compromise. It's a year. If you break that down into quarters or 6 months, you're bound by that goal. Will you be accountable to that time boundary? Okay, I can't answer it for you, but those who succeed are. Okay. So again, specific, define exactly what you want to accomplish. So next to your specific word, you're having your definitions. You are being granular here. I can't teach that to you. You have to understand where you are in order to create that, but it has to be granular. It can't just be, I'm going to lose 20 pounds next year. Well, how are you going to do that? Okay. How are you going to do that? I'm going to increase my business by 1 each year. Well, how are you going to do that? What activities are you going to employ to get that done? What help am I going to seek out? Okay. So be specific. Measurable. You need to be able to measure it. It has to have some type of factor, okay? Whether it is dollar volume, whether it is activities, whether it's number of phone calls per day you're making, thank you notes you're sending, pop buys you're doing, appreciation events you're scheduling. It has to be measurable. And I would tell you, have your monthly measure, have your quarter measure, and then have your, maybe every 6 months. So maybe monthly you do this many activities, but quarterly you do an event. Maybe it's a first-time home buyer, webinar we can help you with, right? We've got those. You want to put it out there to your farm, we can partner with you and present first-time home buyer webinar. You want to do a credit class, we can help you with that as well. You don't have to think of everything. You just have to think of your schedule and find those people that could assist you with accomplishing it. Okay, so measurable. And again, we talked about this, it's got to be attainable. It's not when you set things that you can't reach, it has to be realistic. Think about what and how you want to accomplish it, right? I know I've said this over, I get away from myself a little bit, but attainable is to me one of the make or break things, because you either have a great day or you have a poor day, right? When you feel like, oh my gosh, the first 90 days has gone by and I didn't attain what I set out to do. Well, are you going to stop and look back and go, you know what, I could have done this differently. It didn't work out the way I planned. Well, what's wrong with pivoting? What's wrong? Like, we pivot every day in our market. The market is changing on a dime. We have to pivot, right? At the beginning of the year, we had cash offers, waiving every kind of contingency available, right? Now we have interest rates double where they were at the beginning of the year with the same first-time home buyers looking to buy a house. Well, guess what? Maybe mom and dad needs to co-borrow with them. We're pivoting. Maybe the seller needs to contribute to closing costs because they need more cash to buy points down to get a lower rate to qualify. We're pivoting. Okay, same customer. We are pivoting based on what is changing. That's what I talk about being realistic. If it wasn't attainable, but something has changed, then you've got to pivot and be flexible with yourself and understanding, okay, it's not a big deal. Let's pivot. Let's work to change it. Okay. And again, I talked about relevant in a huge way. They have to fit within your business goals. And again, in your industry goals. And this is a lot, like I said, how do you present? What are your optics? Okay. How are you relevant to the community and the people that you serve? We serve. Okay. There's no one like you. No one like you. There's reasons people come back to you time and time again. You know, I get agents calling me and say, you know what? Every single time when I send the first time home buyer to you, you take the most time with them. Sometimes that costs me the loan. Sometimes I give out too information that they take it and they shop and they go somewhere else. But in most cases, I'll win that over and over again because I help them understand about how to make the best decision for their family and their situation. And they appreciate it. And you all do the same thing. You ask the questions, you provide your worth. You know, they see that, they know how you set yourself apart. And then again, talked a lot about it, time bound, right? You have to know your time. Everything works back from your time. I'm not telling you to work 60 hours a week, although right now you might have to make the same amount of money that you made before. Is it always going to be like that? No. But if you don't want to do that and you have other obligations, then you've got to make that 40 hours way more efficient to accomplish what you need to do. And always through this, I do want you to dream big. You know, you have to have those big, hairy goals, you know, we always hear about. You have to have those goals. You have to see yourself. I used to, when I first got in the business, I had a yellow Post-it that I would put in front of me every day. It was like on my, you know, I would put like a Post-it pin in it. And it was literally a box. There was nothing in it. Okay. It was a Post-it and I drew this square and there was nothing in it. But at the beginning of every year, I pictured that goal. I dreamed of something I wanted. And that was my mental image that went in that box every single year. And I would open my laptop and I would look at that picture and I was like, that is what I'm getting this year. That's what I'm getting. And it could have been a trip I wanted. It could have been a volume goal. It could have been a number of realtor partner goal. It could have been anything, but I would put that, it was in my head, but I would make the picture blank because I kept it there every single year because that goal would change every single year. As you get more successful, it changes a little bit, you know, and I moved into management and it changed a little bit, but I have that goal every single year. And that's my dream big box. You know, that's the box I see every year. So I encourage you to dream big. You know, I always talk about be realistic, but you got to be dreaming big. You could break it down and you can get there. And then of course, execute, right? You definitely want to execute so you could accomplish those marketing goals. So setting your goals, step one, being held accountable, really important. If you don't have an accountability partner, you definitely want to get one or check in with someone. It helps you stay on track. Some people are really good at not having one. Most people are better with one. Okay. And don't underestimate the impact of that accountability partner. Okay. People have coaches for a reason. You know, Cindy coaches for a reason. Okay. It's proven that you're going to be more successful with a coach or accountability partner if you engage them. And then lastly, you've got to do the work. There's nobody that's going to do it for you. Only you represent you, and you've got to do the work. And that is all I have. I know I spoke a long time today, but please, unmute now if you guys have any questions, any thoughts. I would love to hear any success stories or things that you might have done. Please, any feedback would be welcomed at this point. Hello, Cindy, are you there? Anybody have any questions?
Can you hear me?
I can, yes.
Can you give us that formula you gave in the very beginning about calculating?
Sure,
Okay.
sure. So much like what we do for our team, what I would tell you to do is when you're looking back at your business this year, and maybe this year isn't a typical year, depending on how long you've been in business, but let's say you took this year and you looked at the total amount of your transactions, right? What dollar volume that represented. And you could split it buy side, sell side if you want to. You could look at the total. You would divide that by the number of units in that dollar amount. That gives you your average buy side or sell side volume, right? So if you're an agent, let's say, that wants to increase their listings, then you know exactly how many more you need to get if you're setting a listing dollar volume goal on a monthly basis to achieve it for 2023, right? If you wanted to increase your buy side, it's a little different, right? Because you're going after borrowers then, excuse me. Then you have to realize how many more reach outs you have to make to get that many more leads each month, okay, to generate that buy side transaction amount. So you can look at it from two ways, depending upon how you're setting your goal, but it's always about what was the total volume. If you want to split it buy side, sell side, then on the sell side, you're looking to market, to farm, to gather those listings. Your focus is going to be on how to get, more out of a particular farm area or listings, et cetera. The buy side, obviously, you're focusing on buyers. So maybe your strategy is, maybe you do relocation services. Maybe, you've got connections where people are moving to the area. Maybe you focus on military, right? And they're going to need short-term housing or whatever the case may be. Your strategy might be a little different in generating those leads for the buy side. Does that help?
Yes, thank you.
Sure.
Did you see the question in the, or the comment from Sherry Young in the chat room? I'm in a very noisy place, so I can't unmute.
Oh,
Could you
sure.
describe your teacher?
Sure. So in August, we set up, my team and my production partner set up, it's called School Business Boosters. It's fairwaynova.com/school business boosters. You can go out to the site and you can take a look at it. So what we did was we said, we have to go about business differently, okay? Who do we appreciate in the community? Come at it from a standpoint of gratitude and partner with our realtors that service those school communities. And let's do something nice for the teachers. So we basically said, we don't want it to be a high cost thing. We want it to be regular and inexpensive. So what we did was we reached out to the schools and we said, hey, we want to do a teacher appreciation pop-up. What does that mean? It means we're going to bring donuts to your teachers. We're going to have a realtor sponsor a door prize. When you go out to that website and you look at it, it's all about us promoting you as a sponsor for that school. We kind of take a back roll to it. You're our partner. We're trying to build business for you and with you. We want to be your partner. And so we kind of target the teachers and we do something nice. So like this morning, we had 2 of them this morning, where we go in, we bring like 4 dozen donuts. We typically go in before the school day starts. Me and the realtor show up. We have a QR code for the page. That pyramid, school pyramid, we do things for the teachers where we're saying, enter a picture of your pet for festive critters contest. And you can't imagine all the pictures of the pets that we got. And then we sponsor a door prize for the pet for that school. We're doing an ugly sweater contest for Christmas. Teachers can enter in their pictures of the ugly sweaters, and then randomly we'll draw a door prize for them. Well, we have businesses that support that school. The realtors have landscapers, plumbers, title companies, where we add everything to the page and we tell the school, go to that page every month. We're doing a promotion every month for your teachers to win something or participate. We appreciate how hard the last 2 years have been. We're here, we're in the community. We want to help support the PTA. We want to help support the school community. I've done 35 of them so far since August. And it's just a great way. We're saying thank you. We're not asking for anything, but we want to be the face of the community. If ever there's a teacher that needs to buy a house, if ever there's someone in the school, they're going to know Fairway, they're going to know my name, they're going to know your name, because we've supported them every single month with something. So you could check out that site. Sorry, Cindy, I didn't mean to glom over on that, but that's just something we did. Now you can do the same thing. If schools aren't your thing, we've had some agents that say, I don't have any kids. It's not really my thing. I said, okay, well, think about hospitals, think about first responders, go to the firehouse, support, Santa coming on a fire truck, go to Innova and you want to bring something for the nurses, maybe it's a clinic nearby or whatever. You could arrange yourself and you could present yourself a completely different way than just doing a blanket marketing to your farm. Does that help?
I think that's fantastic. And it also forces them to get on a schedule of doing something with regularity.
Right. Like we have right now, like school in Fairfax County is out next Friday. We have 2 every day next week through the 16th that we're doing. And here's what's happening. It's like, now we have schools calling us, they can go to the site and suggest a date, and we have, like today, we had 3 different agents that wanted to do the same school. And I don't want to be the one to tell an agent they can't sponsor a school that's in their neighborhood. There might be 2 agents, from different companies at the same thing. Who cares? You know what I mean? If you come off and you support the school sees that every day they go to the site. And trust me, we have plenty of statistics, door prize entries. We send out the invites early. Be sure your teachers register for a door prize. They see that site. If they submit a picture of their pet, your face is the first face they see when they enter it. So it's a lot of things that we're doing in the communities. If it's something you're interested in, believe me, I'm going to follow up after this call with my information. Just reach out to me. We can schedule a call and walk you through it. If it helps you with your business, we're happy to partner with you. Anything else?
Awesome.
Oh, products I have for service providers. I'm not sure what you mean.
She probably means, what are the products? So are they?
Oh, loan products. Oh, sure. There's too many for me to count. But there's a lot of first-time home buyer programs. We have everything, and we have a lot of jumbo investors too that are very unique. But if you're in like the first-time home buyer space in Virginia, we definitely have, we're an automated underwriter for Virginia Housing. There's a lot of grant and down payment assistance programs through Virginia Housing. But right now also too, Freddie Mac is offering a down payment assistance grant that's out there for the Freddie Mac Home Possible, which is like $1,250 down payment assistance in 3% down transactions for qualified borrowers. I've done 2 of those this month that have closed where they were able to get $1,250, like it's free money kind of thing. And, so there's a lot of them depending upon what the customer profile is. We'll look at everything to see what would best fit for your customer.
Awesome, Kelly. Now remember, everybody, this is going to be later today, not now, because it takes a little while for it to render. Once it processes it, I put it in YouTube, and then I'm going to put it on Kelly's instructor page. You get there to go our regular site, cindybishopworldwide.com, to upcoming events, and then down about halfway down on the right, you'll see Meet Our Instructors. Just click on that button, and then go click on Kelly's picture on the page that you go to, and you'll find this right at the top of her page, so you can replay it.
I'm
And,
just
this
putting my
excellent
email
training.
in, here. I'm gonna put my email and my cell phone in here so that everybody can see it. Because Dream Team Front Royal, I don't know your name, but here's my email. Certainly, if you want to reach out to me, I'm happy to connect.
I think that's Jessica.
Mhm.
Yeah. Hey,
Yeah,
Jessica
and
did
we
really
have
well.
an office in Winchester too, as well. So in between, I'm in Fairfax, but we also have a Winchester office. Jessica, great. Sounds good. Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
so-
I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll send you, I'm gonna give Kelly an updated list of who attended. Kelly,
Yeah.
make sure you give them our website. Anybody that's just waiting for ads to go to our classes should not be doing that. More and more people go to our upcoming events page. It's very simply my name, Cindy Bishop, with Worldwide. I don't know what genius told me to do that. CindyBishopWorldwide.com, and then you go to upcoming events. There's a very small menu. It's right at the top. Just click on it, and pretty much everything you need is from that page, whether you want to register for an upcoming event. I'm a little behind, but I'm getting January done this week, and then I'll move into February. And then in addition to that, Meet Our Instructors is down halfway, about halfway the page on the right. And it's, you just click on a button that says Meet Our Instructors, and you'll go from there to get to Kelly's page. Okie dokie.
Yeah, sorry, I put that in there. It's not schoolbusinessboosters.com. It's just School Business Boosters. So fairwaynova.com/schoolbusinessboosters if you want to check out that site.
Okie dokie. Well, you guys have a great day. Thanks, Kelly, as always.
Thank you.
Magnificent.
My pleasure. Thank you all for attending. I really appreciate it.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye.